Hello everybody, I'm the Mr. C and this is my One Wheel Crisis. A while ago, a friend of mine told me that on average, a human being will spend up to 2 weeks kissing in his or her lifetime. Now this one bothers me and should bother any real critical thinkers out there. Let me elucidate. What culture did they study and in what countries? I mean, how do you measure kissing? Would it be for each kissing episode, which would include moments of grasping body parts while we catch our breaths? And how could you measure that data accurately? I mean, this would obviously have to be all retrospective data. Even if everyone kept a diary of all their kisses, people wouldn't be able to accurately remember how much time they spent kissing without ruining the idea with a stopwatch. And how reliable would that be? You might be able to report on yesterday or maybe even a week ago, but 6 months ago to a year or even longer? I call this claim. I asked her where she got her factoid, and she told me she saw it in an article about Snapple Real Facts. Mind you, this was several years ago, but I saw her recently and it made me remember the discussion. So I've decided I would create a Fact Totem episode as sort of a Snapple expose. Yes, I know, and I don't care. Snapple was originally named the Unadulterated Food Product Company and was founded by childhood friends Arnold Greenberg, Leonard Marsh, and Marsh's brother-in-law Hyman Golden in 1972. They sold all-natural juices to the growing number of health food stores in and around New York City. They weren't so sure the idea would work, so all three of them kept their day jobs. Marsh and Golden at their window washing company, and Greenberg at his grocery store on Manhattan's Lower East Side. The company's name came about because a shipment of carbonated apple juice accidentally fermented, sending bottle tops flying. They combined the sound of the bottle tops popping with the name of the fruit that fermented, and Snapple was born. Sales were slow from the company from the 70s through the 80s, but when they introduced iced tea in 1987, the company came into its own. Apparently, the formula for their iced tea took 3 years to develop, and Greenberg said that the reason it did so well was that they heated the tea before chilling it to get rid of any preservatives. He actually said we made the first ready-to-drink iced tea that didn't taste like battery acid. Do you remember Wendy the Snapple lady? She was actually an employee. Wendy Kaufman worked in the ordering department in 1991 and later moved on to working publicity events. She started to read the letters for fun, and it is said she responded to every letter until she was let go in 1994. Quaker Oats bought Snapple in 1993 and proceeded to suck the life out of the brand as it tried giving Snapple that same slick mainstream marketing treatment it did to the Gatorade brand. It also attempted to centralize distribution, increase serving sizes, and cut down on some of Snapple's more unusual drinks, like Kiwi Tiwi. Snapple has been sued several times for their all-natural claims, and also faced pressure from the Food and Drug Administration for using corn syrup in its beverages when its claims were to be all-natural. There were also other issues, like the fact that their acai blackberry juice contained neither acai nor blackberry juice. David Falk, Snapple's head of marketing, stated, "They are real facts, and we have teams here that fact-check everything. We go through a very vigorous process." After doing some research, I'm unable to find a list of the original facts or even how many there originally were. So instead I used the list of true facts from a 2004 book, Snapple Real Facts, which was put out through Peter Popper Press to get as close as I could to the original facts as they started being added to bottles in 2002. Most of these facts fall under several categories. Not true, true-ish, but misleading, no longer true, which we won't hold against them too much, and not really provable, like the one about kissing. I am personally a little offended by this. Not like, but more of a, Let's play a game. I'll leave a little time after each factoid to see if you can tell whether it's a fact or not. At the end of the video, leave your score in the comments below. And so it begins. Animals that lay eggs don't have belly buttons. Belly buttons form where the umbilical cord connects the growing fetus to the placenta lining of the mother's uterus. Animals born from eggs develop outside the uterus and never have an umbilical cord. Thus, they do not develop belly buttons. Beavers can hold their breath for 45 minutes underwater. Beavers can hold their breath for as long as 15 minutes, but typically remain underwater for no longer than 5 or 6 minutes. Dives typically last less than 30 seconds and are usually no more than 1 meter in depth. Slugs have 4 noses. A slug's primary sensory organs are its tentacles, which perform various functions, including smelling. They possess 2 pairs of tentacles located on the head, with the upper longer pair known as the optical tentacles, which house the eyes, and the lower shorter pair known as the oral tentacles, which are responsible for sense of smell. The oral tentacles can be considered the slug's noses, allowing them to detect chemical signals in their environment. This sensing mechanism helps them locate food, avoid predators, and communicate with other slugs. In conclusion, slugs have 2 noses. Camels have 3 eyelids. Camels have not 1, not 2, but 3 eyelids. Called a nictitating membrane, the transparent lid keeps out sand and dust. It can even improve vision like a contact lens. Many animals, including dogs, cats, and sharks, and some birds, well, I guess and amphibians too, also have third eyelids. A honeybee can fly at 15 miles per hour. The normal top speed of a worker can be around 15 to 20 miles per hour when flying to a food source, and about 12 miles per hour when returning laden with nectar, pollen, propolis, and water. A queen bee can lay 800 to 1,500 eggs per day. The queen knows exactly where, how, and when to lay each egg, and depending upon who you listen to, a healthy queen in her prime productive years can lay anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 eggs a day, and that's more than her body weight in eggs. A bee has 5 eyelids. Incredible as it may seem, bees have 5 eyes, 2 large compound eyes and 3 smaller ocelli eyes in the center of their head. The average speed of a housefly is 4.5 miles per hour. Their antennae help them detect air movement and odors, which can help them fly at speeds of 4.5 miles per hour, and most live within a mile or 2 from where they were hatched. Mosquitoes are attracted to people who just ate bananas. Bananas have not been proven to attract or repel mosquitoes. Experts agree that consuming bananas or any other food do not make us more or less attractive to mosquitoes. Flamingos turn pink from eating shrimp. Carotenoids give carrots their orange color and ripe tomatoes their red color. They're also found in microscopic algae that brine shrimp eat. And as flamingos dine on the algae and the brine shrimp, its body metabolizes the pigments, thus turning its feathers pink. Emus and kangaroos cannot walk backward. Kangaroos are built to jump. They can also move quickly from side to side with amazing agility, but they cannot jump backwards because of their thick, muscular tail. Their long feet and heavy tail also make walking impossible, forwards or backwards. Emus, which are similar to ostriches, but unlike them cannot walk backwards, and no one seems to know why. Cats have over 100 vocal cords. Cats have 2 vocal cords. They work in conjunction with the trachea, epiglottis, and cartilage in the throat. Vocal cords vibrate to make sound. With that being said, a cat is able to make over 100 sounds with their vocal cord. Camel's milk does not curdle. Camel milk does not curdle naturally and won't coagulate as easily as other types of milk. This may be a result of the unique casein micellus, the multimolecular structure formed in the caseins and held together by calcium. All porcupines float in water. The average porcupine has over 30,000 quills covering its back, legs, and tail. Each of these quills is actually hollow inside and very lightweight. Those hollow spaces are filled with air, and this allows the quills to float. And with so many attached to the porcupine's body, they work like little life jackets and keep it afloat. It probably doesn't hurt that their little round bodies also lend themselves to buoyancy. Once the porcupine is afloat, it can use its paws like a dog paddling in the water. The world's termites outweigh the world's humans by 10 to 1. Termites, with their 2,972 extant species, are present in 70% of the countries across the world, and their population outnumbers human beings on a ratio of 10 to 1. A hummingbird weighs less than a penny. The average ruby-throated hummingbird weighs about 3 grams, which is roughly the same as a penny. The bee hummingbird of Cuba is the smallest bird in the world that only measures in at around 2 inches and 1.5 grams. A jellyfish is approximately 95% water. Jellyfish are very simple organisms. Their bodies are made up of just 3 layers: the outer epidermis, a gelatinous middle layer called the mesoglia, and the inner gastrodermis, and they are 95% water. Children tend to grow faster in spring. Firstly, 10 isn't really a quantifiable word, but in all actuality, kids actually seem to grow a bit faster in spring than during other times of the year. One possible explanation is that exposure to longer hours of sunlight may stimulate bone growth and hormone regulation. Other potential factors, which can vary according to location and financial means, include increased access to fresh foods and healthy activities around springtime. Broccoli is the only vegetable that is also a flower. Broccoli, calabrese, cauliflower, courgette blossoms, squash blossoms, Jerusalem artichokes, marrow blossoms, rapinis, romescos, bok choy, and Brussels sprouts are all immature flower heads. Peaches are members of the almond family. Almonds and peaches are 2 well-known tree species. Although the 2 trees seem different because of their products, fruits and seeds, both of them belong to the Prunus genus and are genetically similar enough that they can be crossed, and fertile hybrids can be obtained from them. Alaska has the highest percentage of people who walk to work. Statistically, Alaska weighs in at about 40.7% of its population walking to work. This may have to do with the fact of the price of gas being the 5th highest in the U.S. Although I've spoken to a number of Alaskans and ex-Alaskans, and none of them believe this stat. Miss Miller told me that most people have to commute to work, and most people have cars or have to get a ride somehow. Some people even commute by boat or plane, snow machine, or four-wheeler, but most people can't walk to work. The San Francisco cable cars are the only mobile national monument. There are 129 federally designated national monuments in the United States, and cable cars aren't one of them. They are, however, one of the official National Historical Landmarks, which is a longer list of 2,500 significant sites. But the cable cars aren't the only mobile objects on the list. Over 100 National Historic Landmarks are ships, for example, most of which are no longer in service, but are mobile in that sometimes travel from museum to museum. There's the Saturn V rocket in Alabama that's a National Historical Landmark. There's the Leap the Dips roller coaster in Altoona, Pennsylvania, which is also a National Historical Landmark. But for the past 3 years, San Francisco Cable Cars hasn't even been able to say that it's the only operating urban transit with landmark status. On September 30th of 2014, the Interior Department named it the St. Charles Street Line car of New Orleans, the nation's oldest operating line, to its official list as well. Sorry, San Francisco. Well, that's it for this time. This was the first 20 on the list. You get 1 point for a correct answer, and 2 additional points for knowing why it was true or false. So, how'd you do? I'd love to see your scores, so please leave them in the comments below.
If you enjoy the video and would like to hear more about Snapple and its real facts, let me know. I have enough to make a whole series of these videos. And if you're enjoying these videos, there's some small things you can do to make a big difference to me. Like the video, subscribe if you aren't already, and click the notification bell. Thanks for spending the time and taking the ride. See you next time.